Supply chains are critical. To quote a line from Professor Dave Waters from the Oxford University, he says that supply chain is like nature, it is everywhere. To find out how supply chains can be more resilient, what is the role of technology, and what are the challenges and opportunities, I have been joined today by Pavithran M Kallada, Managing Director, India Subcontinent at PSA BDP, joining us for this conversation. Welcome, Pavithran, to this conversation.
Thank you, Ashwini. Indeed, it's my pleasure to share a bit of insight. What is it exactly happening in the supply chain arena? So, thanks and a good morning to come all the way. And
absolutely, it's a privilege to have this conversation with you, Pavithran. Supply chains, we have seen them buckle under pressure over the last few years, and it's become a boardroom discussion now where CEOs are taking notice of supply chains and how they can be made more resilient. What are some of the opportunities that you see in the space, and what are the challenges?
I think COVID changed the entire world, and the post-COVID, the supply chain and the supply chain resilience is become the central stage of discussion in the boardrooms, no doubt about it.
Right.
So, in the current context, global uncertainty has increased.
Right.
And for challenges for organization is to how to navigate these uncertain challenges and position organization quickly and adaptive way into the changing environment.
Right.
And also, if you look at last few months and early part of 2023 onwards, the normalization of the global ocean and air freights, and also the adoption and increasing trend of data digitalization.
Right.
And particularly if we talk about artificial intelligence is actually reshaping the industry, and
True.
It's completely changing the industry parameters. And also the customers are demanding more visibility into their supply chains.
Right.
And then increasing need of sustainable solutions.
Right.
The sustainability becomes central stage for everything what the customer would like to do it today, or the industry want to do it today. So when I talk about these two challenges are actually turn out as an opportunity. for us, because in data and digitizations, PSA BDP has developed our own technology, which are basically our smart navigator and risk monitor, which are actually more than what customer expected in terms of the marketplace. And in terms of our sustainability arena, we made some significant investment in bringing up e-trucks into India, which is heavy trucks, which is not available, first of its kinds in India,
Right.
which enable our customers to reduce their carbon footprint in the supply chain. And particularly as going forward, you have seen now Europe imposing carbon tax.
Right.
Exporters from India would be looking at how do they reduce their carbon footprint
Right.
in their supply chain. So I think we had a significant investment which is made in bringing in e-trucks, and which is going to be powered by an alternative energy, that renewable energy, and then we'll be providing a solution around 130-150 kilometers radius from Nhava Sheva in a true corridor, which enable and support the Indian industries to go global in terms of green logistics side. Coming back to other opportunity, I think the global growth is now going to be led by the developing economies like India.
Right.
And tremendous opportunity in the marketplace for us. And for PSA BDP, this is our strategic and focused marketplace. So where we would basically develop and interface and bring in our solutions and sustainable logistics solution to the Indian industry. That's where our opportunities lie. And other area which we would like to look at, our combined strength. When I say combined, the PSA and BDP, our combined product portfolio, bringing us a unique opportunity to design new products in the marketplace like Port Plus and multimodal logistics.
Right. Right. So you've touched upon all the questions that I was to ask you, Pavithran, but I'll just pick them initially from your points that you've mentioned. So you touched upon data. Now data again is very critical for enterprises to have the visibility when you speak of the supply chain, and you touched upon the artificial intelligence piece. How are you trying to bring the AI and create a more resilient, more visible supply chain for you, for your customers as well?
So, in terms of our data and investment, we have a significant investment which is continued to be due by our own technology team, wherein we are also partnering with stakeholders.
Right.
So that it's because logistics doesn't stop at one
True.
point, right? It's keep on moving.
Right.
So you have many stakeholders in the complete supply chain processes. So we are integrating those, and we are also investing in first of all is design what customers need, what markets need, and accordingly putting those pieces together and designing advanced technology driven products, which is also artificial intelligence, machine learning coupled with our customers and supply chain dot points. So that's where our investment is basically coming in. So we have our own team who are been developing text-based solutions. That's where we see like risk monitor, what we are basically brought into there, where the customer is able to see if there is a weather which is impacting their supply chain, because that's where we are able to connect that algorithm to see that what is en route, shipments can get delayed, ships can get delayed, or if there are war or any strikes, which we are able to notify the customers in advance, and which will enable not only in advance planning but also see them the potential delay and will able to take a corrective actions or an alternative sourcing for them to meet up the end production lines. So there are some of the area our AI and ML is actually taking shapes and putting in place.
So this is the risk monitor that you speak. So it's now
it's already there. We have customers already using it.
How important is, when you touch upon the customers piece, to develop and create products with the customers themselves? How important that piece has become, considering supply chain just spreads across. It's not limited to a region or a company. It's just huge.
First of all, even customer themselves are into a challenge, because today the market keeps shifting. Right. As in, and I believe the earlier time you have a breathing time to see that if even in India domestic consumption keep fluctuating. You see all of a sudden the spike taking in north, but then down is south. So inventory mobilizing for us according to the customer need. And it's also you don't have a lead time to reach the product today to the marketplace, right? You need it there
just
at
in
the
time
shelf.
Is what they
Not even, I think that's another way of change, right? You have seen now, instead of just in time, it's become just in case.
Just in case, yes.
Right, because and the customers and the consumer mind is rapidly changing. So you probably see a customer wanted a red shirts, but when we believe that the data will give you saying that, hey, this area the customer prefer more of a red color combination. But when then you see all of a sudden the customer mind saying going into yellow all of a sudden. So the companies to recop those customer mindset, that's where the challenge is. But we are with our customers, with our customer interface, with our customer data mining, we are being able to really showcase some of those products and able to create some value proposition in the customers in this very resilient environment.
Absolutely right. You touched upon the sustainability piece, and while sustainability again is not something that you do within your four walls, because again you have the whole ecosystem there. How are you trying to create an effect wherein the sustainability is driven beyond the four walls as well, your partners, your ecosystem?
Two things to come in when we talk about sustainability and the green logistics in our perspective is that majority 99% of our green gas emission is scope free in terms of our carbon footprint. So we are to see that how do we reduce and become
that is a
neutral.
challenge. Scope 3 emissions are a challenge to bring
so
down.
we are taking some meaningful steps. First is to have a clear and reliable data of your customers' carbon emission profile. And then looking into the room and designing a logistic solutions to reduce their carbon footprint. That's the first step. So basically developing a reliable data which you can think and act upon in the journey of reducing the carbon. Second, what we also do is bringing in best in class assets, the latest most modern assets, which are not only by ocean carriers, selecting the ocean carriers who basically use alternative fuels and the green energy, and also other stakeholders, trucking and other aspects, and then see that those whom we contract has these initiative and fundamentals green gas emissions as a process in the central stage in our contract, and then reduce possible emissions in the freight and global transportation arena. That's a step
Right.
2 taking in terms of. Third, in terms of what we are basically doing is that what can we do in processing, bringing in load optimization, route optimization.
Right.
Because that's not only bring in a cost saving for the customer, but also reduce the carbon emissions.
Right.
So that's where we are bringing in technology and the work processes, and talk to our customers in terms of line of consolidations and part load to full truck loads, and then we are trying to basically optimize their load and the
Right.
route in line to bring in on those area. And the fourth arena is definitely to continue to invest, modernize, bring in new area, and also neutralize in terms of, first is bringing in data quality, second thing is looking the right asset class, third is basically partnering and optimizing processes, finally whatever left over by neutralizing it. So that's our
Right.
goal in terms of driving a carbon neutral freight centric, and also selecting the carriers and the stakeholders who can use alternative fuel in the global transport.
Right. So you touched upon one. This is my final question to you, Pavithran. So you've touched upon investing a lot. One, what are the key technology areas? Because I'm sure data is going to play a key role here. You've touched upon artificial intelligence and machine learning piece. What would be your key technology priorities? To have one, create a very resilient supply chain for your customers, and also to be a sustainable organization across.
So I think I would always emphasize that bring in best in class technology which are been built upon artificial intelligence and machine learning, and the connecting the dot, because as I probably you would have heard me talking about the customers increasing demand on supply chain visibility.
Right.
Because that's where our more focus is, to see that how reliable we bring in the data from all the supply chain dot
Right.
points,
Right.
so that this give the customers to understand the risk which they are carrying. Second is to react upon from a proactive mechanism rather than a reactive approach, so that customers can minimize their risk and disruption in their supply chain.
Right.
So our technologies are predominantly coming in terms of bringing in artificial intelligence to understand the cycle time, route optimizations, and maximizing the routes, and giving the risk monitor and the visibility, and smart navigator. So our another technology is smart navigator, where the customer is able to see every touch point of their supply chain while it's a move from on an end-to-end perspective.
Right.
So that's where in the area our investment was coming in.
Right, Pavithran. Thank you so much for sharing your views. It was pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Ashwini, and indeed it's our pleasure, and thank you very much for the wonderful and very constructive discussions on this arena. I think supply chain is a topic, it's not going to end with a few minutes or few hours of discussion at this point of time.
Absolutely, I will agree with you on that. Right, that was Pavithran Kallada, Managing Director, India Subcontinent at PSA BDP. Please do stay tuned for more such videos on ET Edge Insights. Thank you.